I often refer to the art process as a spiritual experience. And I don't mean that in any kind of religious or dogmatic manner. I talk about spirituality, I talk about a universal experience, the individual's place within their universe, within the world, their place within nature. You know, in Western civilization, for so long we have tried to separate ourselves from nature, separate ourselves from religion, from God, from spirituality, where in many indigenous cultures that doesn't take place. There's no separation of art, religion, etc., etc. It's all part of life, the experience of life. Where, you know, throughout our culture we've created this separation. The main reason for that is if we're separate from the other, the nature or other persons, etc., then we have an excuse to dominate and even abuse those things. And we see that happening within our culture today. Abuse of nature, abuse of other cultures, etc. The art process teaches morality, values, spirituality without any of the dogma attached of religion, etc. It's a direct experiential thing. For example, when you teach someone, properly teaching them about art making, you're teaching them about how all parts consist of and affect the totality of the whole. Caspar David Friedrich, the great romantic landscape painter, said it just that way. He said, all the parts of the painting need to be congruent with the whole in order for the painting to work. This is known as the abstract structure, the composition, the design, and every great painter knows that that is the most important element of the painting. When you go through the art process and you're creating, and you realize that every mark, every shape, every color, value, etc., affects the totality, then you also see that that's reflected in life. If you're taught the art process properly, and of course it would take a whole revamping of our educational system, but I personally believe, this is a whole other lecture, that education should be centered around art. You should teach the math, sciences, languages, all through the arts. So in this way, you get a complete, balanced, whole individual. The arts, in the process of making art, we become reflective. We shift into what often is referred to as right hemisphere thinking or visual thinking, where we dissolve the ego self and merge into what artists often refer to as the zone. It's very similar to a meditative state. And when I teach drawing, I often refer to it as a meditational process, because you lose that analytical self, you lose the sense of time and space, and you enter into a place of just awareness. Now, at first, there's steps that one has to go through often to achieve that, where you have to kind of free yourself from the critical mind, that mind that tells you can't draw, you can't paint, or whatever. We'll go into that a little bit later. But the point is, you enter into a state of being awareness. And that is the higher self. That's what I mean, or the more essence of self. What I mean when I say that the art process is one of the many paths that can lead you to a greater experience of self and self-awareness. It is, in fact, a spiritual process in that through it, if you're practicing it with this consciousness, you become aware of your situation, your place within the universe, your interaction with the natural world and the relationships of things. Because, again, you're seeing things in terms of relationships, like you would in a painting. This shape against that, this color against that, this value against that. You naturally are about dialoguing and communicating with relationships, so that then that should affect other levels of your existence. Of course, this is a constant, ongoing process, and we are always growing with it. I remember my mentor, old Toby, he was about 80 when he said to me, you know, I think I'm just getting a hang of this painting process. And he's a master painter. He was a master painter. So it's just like life. It's an ongoing journey. It is a spiritual journey. As I said, it can bring you to greater awareness. At